Let me tell you about 5 things to consider before starting GLP-1 medications. But first, let me share a quick story with you. A few months ago, I met a patient who was desperate to lose weight. She tried every diet, every workout routine, nothing worked. Then she heard about this so-called miracle shot that was all over the news, GLP-1. Her friend lost 30 pounds in 3 months, and she thought, this is it. This is my answer. But what she didn't expect were the surprises that came with it. Some were good and great, and others not so much. And that's what we are going to talk about today, the 5 things you must know before jumping in. So she walked into my office, eyes full of hope, and asked me, Doc, is this really the magic bullet? Will this finally help me lose the weight? I could see her desperation, but I also knew the full story. We sat down, I laid out everything she needed to understand before starting her first dose. And trust me, it wasn't just about weight loss, it was about health, sustainability, and the unexpected turns that no one really talks about. Let me break this down for you. GLP-1 agonists like Ozempic, Wegovy are part of a class of medications called incretin mimetics. These drugs mimic the effect of a natural hormone called GLP-1, which stands for glucagon-like peptide 1. GLP-1 is secreted in the intestines. When you eat, its primary job is to regulate blood sugar levels and signal satiety to your brain. But here's the kicker. It also slows down gastric emptying, meaning food stays in your stomach longer, making you feel full for extended period of time. But that's not all. GLP-1 also enhances insulin secretion in response to glucose, which is particularly important for patients with type 2 diabetes. It is almost like your body's natural fuel gauge gets recalibrated, burning fuel more efficiently. Therefore, when you use GLP-1 agonist, you're not just eating less. You're changing the way your body handles food, glucose, and insulin. But, and this is very important, there are things you need to know before diving in head start. Let's go through the top 5 considerations. We have all heard the commercials. May cause nausea, vomiting, or diarrhea. This is not just a disclaimer. This really what's going on for more than 40% of patients, reporting significant gastrointestinal issues during the first few weeks. But why does this happen? It is because GLP-1 slows down gastric emptying so much that your stomach contents are particularly idling, causing discomfort. The hormone also interacts with brain receptors that regulate nausea. Therefore, the adjustment phase can be rough. But here's the good news. Many people adapt after a few weeks. I always tell my patients to start low and go slow. Therefore, titration is key to minimize these side effects. If you rush it, you're likely to experience worse symptoms. GLP-1 medications are not a short-term intervention. Studies show that when people stop taking it, they tend to regain the weight, sometimes even more than before, because the hormonal signals go back to their baseline. Hunger returns and cravings creep back in. But does that mean you're chained to this medication forever? Not necessarily. Some patients transition off successfully if they make significant lifestyle changes during treatment. Therefore, I always emphasize building sustainable habits when you are on the medication. It's not just the injection, it is the transformation of your lifestyle that counts. These medications can cost you up to $1,000 a month without insurance. But even with insurance, coverage is inconsistent. Some policies classify GLP-1 as weight loss medications, not diabetic medications. which complicates coverage. Therefore, if you are planning to start, you need to know and understand your insurance policy front and back. I always recommend checking prior authorizations and explore patient assistance programs. But be prepared because this could be a long-term financial commitment if you want to maintain the results. GLP-1 can curb your appetite but won't change what you eat. Patients sometimes think they can continue poor dietary habits and still lose weight. But the truth is, GLP-1 amplifies your efforts. It doesn't replace them. Therefore, if you're eating highly processed, calorie-dense foods, you will struggle. Think of GLP-1 as your leverage to make better choices easier, not an excuse to ignore them. Studies show that combining GLP-1 with exercise and a balanced diet leads to twice the weight loss compared to just using the medication alone. But you need to put in the work. There is no way around that. Not everyone responds the same way to GLP-1 therapy. But why? Genetics, gut microbiome, and metabolic health all play a role. Some patients drop 20 pounds in the first few months, while others barely move the scale. Therefore, it is crucial to monitor progress and make adjustments. If you are not seeing results, it's not necessarily the drug problem. It could be how your body interacts with it. But that also means you might need a different approach, like adjusting your dose or combining it with other therapists. So back to my patient. She weighed the pros and cons and decided to move forward. She knew the side effects that might be uncomfortable, but also she understood the potential benefits. Therefore, she made lifestyle changes alongside cutting out processed sugars, increasing her protein intake, and staying active. The results? Not just weight loss, but better energy, improved blood sugar levels, and confidence she hadn't had felt felt for years. But here's the best part. She was prepared. She knew what to expect and how to manage it. That's the difference between jumping in blind and being ready. So what's the takeaway? GLP-1 is powerful, but it's not a miracle shot. It's a tool, like any tool, you need to use it correctly. Understanding the science, managing expectations, and committing to lifestyle changes are what makes it work. Therefore, if you're considering starting GLP-1 or you want to know if it's right for you, drop a comment below. I'm happy to answer your questions. And don't forget to subscribe to Dr. Nony's Power Lab where you break down the science of health and get you one step closer to the best version of yourself. Until next time, stay strong and stay informed. Thank you. Bye bye.